What's going on, people? Good morning from the East Coast. It's yours truly, you know what I'm saying? Mel, spread love. It's the Brooklyn way. And, I want to talk about something that's not directed at anybody in particular. My mother left me a note. Yeah, oh, my niece left me a note. Funny. Anyway, this is directed at nobody in particular. This is more or less about things that people go through. The White Pox said, "What's up, pimp?" Nah, far from a pimp, far from a pimp. But I appreciate that. This is about learning to let go. Crimson Fantasy says, "What's up?" Jennifer Coates says, "Hi, hello to all of you. Thank you for joining the live stream. All three of you, or four of you actually." And this is about learning to let go, learning to let go of toxic relationships, toxic people. Like I said, this is not directed at anybody in particular. The White Pox says, Crimson, hey. Um, sometimes it just has to be done. If White Pox says, hi, Jen. You know what? This whole year has really been like that for me. And sometimes it's a challenge, I know my mother has always told me that, when you're trying to, I guess contact certain people. Crimson Fantasy says, "How's everyone? How's it going, everyone?" My mother always told me that when you're in different relationships, or be it family, be it friends, significant others. Jennifer Kyle says, "Hi, White Pac." Um, it can be a challenge because you'll find people gravitate and talk to who they want to talk to. People spend the time dealing with folks that I guess spark their interest and whatnot. And people change over time. Freeman just says, if I'm hanging out from a third floor window, silly, I still ain't letting go that easy. Well, true. If you're hanging out from a third floor window, don't just let go right away. But I guess this is about letting go of toxic situations, toxic people, relationships that have changed. It can be a challenge because you may care about somebody, you may really love somebody, you may really want to be connected to that person, and things change. Vinji says, "Good morning, all. Being here is a challenge. I've been working awake too long." Yeah, well, I mean, if you've been awake too long, thank you for stopping by. I don't expect you to be in the live stream if you ain't getting no sleep yet. So get sleep first if you're watching my live stream or whatever, wherever you are in the time zone all over the world. But thank you for tuning in. But like I said, this is just about toxic relationships. Letting go of toxic people, toxic situations, be it at work, be it at home, be it just, people you see passing in the street. It can be a challenge sometimes because, you may care about somebody. You may want to be in a person's life, but things change. Or you may be in a situation, at work, or, on another, platform, wherever it may be, and things is not working out. And I'm not speaking about anybody's particular situation. I'm making a broad stroke, broad brush generalization. I'm not talking about anybody because, you got to be careful. People will call you and text you and ask you, or come on your live stream and say, why are you talking about me? And I'm not talking about you, even if some of the things are, hitting home about you. This live stream is not about you, but it's just about the characteristics that people have. And in a sense, it is just about different types of relationships that people face, different things that people go through. And it's a challenge sometimes. You got to let go. Like, even if you're in a marriage or something like that, and you're going through a tough divorce because you thought the relationship would work out, or you have kids with somebody and then you wind up breaking up. The White Pox says, hi, Vinji. And and you're in a relationship or something like that, and you may have a child with somebody, and you break up because you didn't think the relationship didn't go the way you thought it would go. And it's a challenge, sometimes, when you're dealing with folks and relationships change and feelings are not as strong as you thought they were, or people are not as close as you thought they would be. It can be something. I mean, it can be, a heartbreak. It can be a difficult situation to go through, but it's like my father told me, you try to respect. Crimson Fantasy says that would suck having kids with someone and it doesn't work out. It happens all the time, Crimson. Vinji says, hey, White Pac, what's up, my friend? You'd be surprised how common that is, Crimson Fantasy. Yeah, especially in certain urban communities, and we'll leave it at that. Um, but it's like my pops told me, one of the few things he actually told me with our crazy relationship is that if things don't work out, you don't hold any hard feelings. You let people go their way, you go your way, and that's that. I think the problem is when things are over and it's said and done, we do ourselves a disservice by trying to hold on to something that's already dead. It's like my mother always used to joke, beating a dead horse. Crimson Fantasy says, "I know it's common, but I don't know, but I don't know I dodged that bullet." Well, a couple of us have dodged the bullet, but some of us haven't. And for those that haven't, I feel your pain. I honestly do, because I've been in situations where I've been with certain females, and they've gotten abortions and stuff like that. And I know that's a sensitive topic and whatnot. I mean, I may not have wanted it to go down that way, but it did, and it affected me, but not as much as I guess the person that's actually going through it. And you find yourself in a situation where you have to kind of pick up the pieces after the relationship falls apart, and you have to learn to forgive and let go. And you learn to let go, you learn to forgive, not always for the other person's sake, but as I've been taught, for your own sake, so you can move on, so you can live your life. That's why it's important to learn to let go in particular situations. I mean, because any situation where I was talking to somebody and I'm not talking to somebody, I want people to understand it's not that I hate you. Vinji says I'm very desensitized, but I don't know why, but nothing bothers me. Yeah, well, hey, what happens? Melanie says, yes, forgiveness is so important. Yes, it is. Forgiveness is important because it helps us to move on and live our life. And like I say to anybody, learn to forgive, learn to forget, and learn to let go. It's a challenge. It's hard because it requires you to do something that you don't want to do. Is to give that other person a pass. Is to give that other person, freedom to move about and emotionally, because you're so caught up in what happened. But Vinji says, I am unfiltered. Okay, you could be unfiltered, Vinji, but hopefully you're unfiltered with the forgiveness too, because you have to be able to let go unless you're just holding on something that'll eat away at you like a cancer. Sometimes toxic relationships and toxic people can eat at you like a cancer. It can deteriorate and destroy the quality or the fabric of your very existence, your life, your conversation, your diet and exercise, the way that you see yourself, because as has been said to me by the old timers, we are the company that we keep. We are the environments that we in. We can become that. Crimson Fantasy says it's hard to figure out when to draw the line. And I don't have the same Vinny. Crimson Fantasy says, as far as drawing the line, Crimson Fantasy, I can't say that I know definitively when to draw the line, but my opinion on it is this. I say the line should be drawn when you're in a situation or relationship that just starts to destroy the fabric of your life. Sound like a Fruit of the Loom commercial. The touch, the feel of cotton, the fabric of our life. Anyway, what I'm saying, yeah, you draw a line when like I said, literally, I'll draw a line. You draw a line. I don't know if you see it. You draw a line when it starts to destroy the fabric of your life, when the quality of your life starts to go down, or it starts to become a negative influence, become more negative than positive, when you're dealing with somebody. Of course, you forgive people for their faults, like the Lord's Prayer goes for, not to get too religious, but forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And that is definitely a must if you want to, move on with your life and do different things, in particular. But yeah, that's how I feel about that. Melanie says yes, because the reality is, sometimes emotionally we don't let go. We may have let go physically, we may let go mentally, but emotionally we're still invested in a person, in a particular situation, because of how they made us feel. Vinji says, I live by one rule and one rule, belief. When evil knocks at your door, hold on, I gotta hear the rest of that comment, or see the rest of that comment. It says, Vinji says, I live by one rule and one belief. When evil knocks at your door, need to guard Neither a God-fearing man or a non-God-fearing man can stop the carnage the evil brings. Um, well, I'll address that. Why not? Sometimes when evil comes your way, it's not about particularly trying to stop it, because the fight is not really yours. You trust in God if that's something that you're into, or you try to have faith and confidence that you'll know how to handle it. I suggest that when the evil comes your way, or when the drama comes, like you say in the urban community, you face all the smoke. You let all the smoke come to you. It's something. What is it? Vinci says the experience from that is you better pray to whoever, whatever you see is it coming next time earlier. And what is Melanie saying? Melanie says, you can't control what comes your way, but you can control how you handle it. Yes, exactly, Melanie. And I think that's the key to it all. If the smoke is coming your way, if the fire is coming your way, you know what? Be prepared, because there's nothing you could do. If you're trapped in a situation, or you're in a particular situation, yes, you should pray. Yes, you should be looking for a way out. Whether you believe in God or not, Crimson Fantasy is good not to let the past control your future relationships. Yes, that's another great point. It's good not to let the past control future relationships. But a lot of times we do, because I remember old timer was telling me the reason the past controls our present is because we're constantly going through in our mind the past that we've had. Just think about the worst day that you ever had. If you're constantly thinking about it, it's constantly affecting your present and constantly affecting your future, because the characteristics, the emotions are still there. Even though the situation is dead and gone, your mindset, whatever your mindset was from that time, is still here presently. And that affects your relationships. That affects your ability to move on, or your inability to move on. So, that's definitely what it is. But just to go back to Vinji's point, when the smoke comes, or the fire comes, or the evil comes your way, the best way to deal with it, the best way to address the situation is to face it head on, or else you'll constantly be running from it. I remember what old timer told me one time. He says, you can't have somebody chase you if you're not running. Something can't chase you if you're not running from it. So if it comes your way, don't let it chase you. Face it. Win, lose, or draw. Deal with it. Certain things in life happen. Deal with it if you have the strength to deal with it. Build up the strength. There's certain things I didn't want to deal with. There are times when I was going through situations at work, personally and stuff like that, things that were just, bogging me down at the same time. And I had to face it. There's times I didn't want to come outside my house, because there were some difficult situations that I had to really deal with, at the time. And I said to myself, either I'm going to let go of these negative, toxic situations, or I'm going to let these things control me. I'm going to let these things, beat me down, and I'm going to constantly be living each day like, what was that movie Tom Cruise did? It wasn't Oblivion. Was it Oblivion? I don't know if it was Oblivion, but it was the movie where Tom Cruise kept dying, and he had to keep going through the same day until they got to the bad guys and killed the alien center or whatever. He had to keep dying and stuff like that. I ain't got time to be going through all that, man. Listen, I face whatever's coming, I deal with it, and then that's what it is. We move on, But some people keep going through the same day, keep going through the same struggles, because in their mind they're still thinking about it. They're still fearful of a situation. They don't know how to let go of it emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. It becomes a part of their identity, who they are, what they've become. Some folks just don't know how to, live on without it. Sometimes we're just holding on to it because it makes us comfortable. The discomfort makes us comfortable because we know what to expect. And sometimes people don't know how to step into the unknown, even if it's the best thing ever. People, fear what they don't understand. And sometimes those things that you lack understanding in are the best things that could ever happen to you, because there's room for possibility. There's room for growth. There's a chance for change. There's a chance to become a better version of yourself than you were yesterday, and even better at the day after that, or the best version of yourself, whatever that may be, however it looks. And I think it's just important to let go for your own sake. It's important to let go for yourself so you could go on and live your life. Because the reality is sometimes you could be connected to people or trying to connect yourself to people who have moved on from you or who are abusing you, in a relationship or whatnot. And you're trying to reach out to them and they're broken up and they're not trying to fix themselves. So, we have a lot of broken people in the world. Let's just be realistic. There's a lot of broken people in this world. And there's a lot of broken, myself, I'm not the most put together, spoken person. But what you do is you don't make an excuse for yourself not to, become a better version of yourself. It's like I told my mother many times when we're talking, just because we fail, just because we fall down and we make mistakes and we're imperfect, is no excuse to stay down. Just because we're imperfect is no excuse to say, you know what, I'm going to be imperfect, not to try to be better, at least in the heart. Vinji says, I like to challenge myself all the time, but it's between me, myself, and generally I'm happy with the outcome. Crimson Fantasy says, time heals all wounds, like the old saying goes. Melanie says, I think everyone's broken in the world in different ways, just some hide it better than others. Yeah, all these comments that you say are true. I start with Melanie's. There's a lot of broken people. All of us are broken in some type of way because we're imperfect beings living in an imperfect world. So yeah, some of us are better at hiding it than others. Some of us have more resources and popularity to the point where, hey, you can hide it behind a smile. I remember a family member told me about that. How the person said, sometimes I'm sad and I'm depressed and I'm going through things and I hide my pain behind my smile. And I've noticed that a lot of people do that. They, hey, how's everything? And yeah, all right, and I'm good. And meanwhile, they're depressed. Vinji says, I thought I was broken until I worked out. I'm actually crazy. Well, some people are crazy too. Yes, I subscribe to that notion. But even with the craziness, there's brokenness inside of it, and Melanie is right. Some people just hide it better than others. But also to Crimson's point, time does heal all wounds. But I'll add to what Crimson said. If you let it, you have to allow time to give you time to heal those wounds. Because if you don't, you could just keep going through the same old thing. You could see those wounds on the floor. You could be looking at that pain in the mirror. And if you keep grabbing it and picking it up and going for it, then you can't heal. There's so many people that have toxic relationships, and myself included. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've had relationships and fight not to have relationships with things have been toxic, and I've kept picking it up. I know Vinji, you said you like to challenge yourself. Vinji says, would stick your hand in a bowl full of water with an electric lead with the water running at 240 volts. What? Would you stick your hand in a bowl full of water with an electric lead and the water running 240? No, I wouldn't. I mean, if you have, don't do it again. I mean, maybe some people like the pain, and maybe that's what you were trying to say. I'm not sure about that. But I definitely agree with Melanie's point. Watch me do it on one of my videos. Yeah, you're crazy. But wow. That's wild. Don't, kids don't try that at home. Anyway, Vinji, please don't do that. Says Melanie. No pain, just knowledge. Yeah, there's knowledge in it. You probably have insulated boots or some kind of rubber situation. I mean, if you're going to do that, you better have your safety precautions together, and you better advise the children out there or anybody out there who's not professionally trained or just tactically trained not to do that, because that sounds kind of dangerous. 240 volts is enough to kill anybody. I don't care who you are. But just back to what I was saying, you have to be willing to let go of toxic relationships just for your own sake, just for your own sanity, just to be able to move on and live your life, because even folks that are in a toxic relationship with you will allow you to keep calling them, to keep reaching out to them, to keep, bothering yourself and worrying about them when they don't really care about you. I say to avoid relationships and situations where folks don't care about themselves. you know, you try to help them out and pray for them or reach out to them and give them a vine, is a vine or leaf or branch or whatever. But if someone doesn't care about themselves, you know, enough to take care of themselves properly, why would they care about you? And there's a lot of people who don't love themselves out in this world, who don't care about themselves. And a lot of times we as people find ourselves in relationships or in dealings with folks like these. You can't avoid them. Vinji says sometimes worrying about a relationship actually destroys a relationship. Yes, I agree. I totally agree with that statement, Vinji. And if you find yourself in a situation where you have to worry about a relationship, where you have to constantly stress and strain yourself over the person being okay and they're not thinking about you, then maybe it's time to move on. And some people don't like to hear stuff like that because, you know, they figure, you know what, you need to give me a chance, you need to try. And I'll say to that is, Granny Monster says, I'm so completely fed up today. I'm actually trying to talk myself into staying on this platform. What happened, Granny? What's up? You know, something went down. We need to go get somebody. I'm so completely fed up today. I'm actually trying to talk myself into staying on this platform. Well, Granny, you ain't going nowhere, says Vinji. Well, let us know, Granny, what's going on. Bit. It's a sad sign if you want to worry that much. You should be at a place in a relationship. Otherwise, it's not right. Well, yeah, you shouldn't. But sometimes, and I've learned this the hard way, that people usurp your emotions, you know, or they, you know, put you in a situation where they're pulling at you. Vinji says, "What's up, Granny?" Melanie says, "Be at peace, not in place." Haha, with a be in peace, not in place. That's interesting. That's an interesting situation or comment you made there, Melanie. You know, but it happens. You know, people find themselves, you know, in relationships where your emotions are usurped, where your feelings are manipulated and messed with, especially if you care too much. Sometimes there's a way of caring too much. Vinji says the only platform I'm ever getting off is the world when it stops. Interesting. But Granny, I guess me and you gotta talk. I don't know, maybe outside of the live stream or something like that. But I would definitely be willing to talk to you about that. Even if you want to do a live stream real quick, Granny, just hit me up on the Google Hangouts and we could discuss that right now if you want. Yeah, but perhaps, and thank you. Well, yeah, well, I'm getting ready to go soon, so I don't know what you want to do. Or you can hit me up later, Granny, and then I'll probably talk to you about that, see what's going on. Maybe that's some private conversation, I'm not sure. But I'll say to anybody, you know, just be aware of toxic relationships, even if it's with a platform, you know, online. You know, you have to just be careful with how much emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, even financially invested you are in particular people and situations and places and things. You know, because things can drain you, folks can drain you. And then the funny thing is, when it drains you, they'll look at you like, well, I didn't tell you to stay around anyway, or this was your choice anyway. And those things happen. Or, you know, you could have walked away at any time, nobody held a gun to your head. But meanwhile, the person was constantly doing things to try to draw you in, or sometimes we allowed ourselves to be drawn in. Because realistically, sometimes we'll see a toxic situation, a toxic person or thing, and we'll let it draw us in because of the way it made us feel. You know, just because of the way it made us feel, just because it gave us a feeling of euphoria and stuff like that. Free Music says, take a break, GM. Let the anger pass. That's great advice, actually, from Free Music. Hey, at Granny Monster, don't let no one bother you, girl. It's just the way the world is. Carl Thomas says also you have to stop. You have to be strong to cut the relationship off. Yeah, Mr. Thomas, you do have to be strong enough to cut the relationship off. A lot of folks aren't that strong. Granny Monster says, I am trying, and that's the plan. Free. Well, if you take a break, Granny Monster, you know what I'm saying, don't forget about us. We won't forget about you. Like I said, reach out to folks. If you got to reach out privately, you know, if you need my information or whatever, just hit me up on the Hangouts. We can arrange something with that. You know, because I'd like to hear more about your situation, what's going on, and we're here for you. So, you know, you're not in this alone. But back to Mr. Thomas's point, Carl Thomas, not the singer, though, not the singer. you have to be strong enough to cut off, toxic relationships, toxic people, and a lot of folks aren't, because realistically, it becomes a dependency on these particular person, places, and things. Because realistically, sometimes they're just a part of our routine. Free Music says, burn some rubber for a while, come back fresh. I need to burn some rubber myself too, Free Music. But yeah, we all need a break. But that's a side conversation. Yeah, as far as things go, though, like I said, yeah, it's about learning to let go. And this year I'm learning just to let go, just to pull myself or pry myself away from those situations or relationships that I don't need to be in. And there's people that are going to feel some type of way about this live stream, people that I know personally, people that I don't know personally. Granny Monster said, chuckles mildly and nods. Yes. See, that's what we like, Granny. We like to see you chuckling. We like to see you laughing. We like to see you smiling, enjoying yourself. You know what I'm saying? It's cool when we cause a cozy conditioning, which we create, because that's our mission. So listen close to what I say, because this type of ish happens every day. Anyway, that was just my rapping part of it. What I'm saying is just, even Granny, I'll say to you, if you're in a situation that's toxic or a situation that's bogging you down, hey, look, maybe you need to step back and take a break. Maybe you need to cut yourself loose from it altogether completely, but do what's best for you in a particular situation, especially if it's destroying the quality of life or bringing you to a negative space. And that's with anybody. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be significant others, it could be co-workers, it could be whoever it is. And some folks may feel some type of way about this. And I know when I finish this live stream, there's going to be some people that have some jokes. But at the same time, you know what? It's real facts being put in here. You have to let go of toxic situations if you really want to move on with your life. If you really want to have sanity, peace, prosperity in your life, because we take on a lot in this generation, in this day and time, in this society. We'll be bombarded with all kind of messages, with all kind of images, with all different ways of talking to each other, with a lack of communication skills, So, I mean, that's pretty much what it is. And I think I'm going to be out. Thank you for everybody that joined in the live stream, that commented. This was actually a very dope conversation, another very dope conversation. Again, the things that I'm saying in this live stream are not directed at any one particular person or organization. So don't text me and call me, asking me, or with the jokes talking about, is it about you? Because I am not taking shots at anyone. This is just a conversation, a generalization, certain things I mentioned specifically, but those are about people that I really, 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 really no longer talk to. But even still, it was just used as a point of reference. Again, this is not directed at anybody in particular, not one person, not one personality, not one particular situation. Don't look at me funny when you see me in the street. Don't put together no social media about me. Don't be on Snapchat, IG trying to get at me because I came through on a live stream and told my thoughts. Carl Thomas says, good to know. Like I said, I'm not trying to take a shot or throw it indirect at anybody. This is for the youth. This is for people that need a reminder. This is for folks that just are unaware of these things. This is a positive conversation. I'm not trying to be malicious or hateful in any type of way. But I am going to call a spade a spade. Are there some people that I know personally? Yes. Nice, lovely jacket, Mel. This is actually my robe, with my initials on there, So, it's looking cool. Carl Thomas says, ha ha. Yeah, ha 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 ha. But it's all good. Like I said, this is not directed at anybody in particularly. This is something that's just on my mind, and I like to talk to the people and have a conversation. And that's just really what it is. This is a reminder of some things. I have some situations that did remind me of this, which I won't go into. But again, this is not particularly aimed at one particular person or whatnot, because people go through things, and that's really what it is. So with me looking like I look, feeling like I feel, doing what I do, Granny Monster says people's vanity has them thinking everything has to be about them and wants more Mel Oil. And thank you for your time. Yeah. Because I will say that, Granny, I'll piggyback on that point. You might think this live stream is about you, to those people who think this is about you, but it's not. This is just about the personality type. This is just about the things that people go through. This is just about situations. This is about stuff that people need to do. And for anybody that thinks this live stream is about them, you can go to my Twitter page and see my pinned tweet, and you'll know that way before this, I did this live stream, I was already thinking about letting go. So this ain't about nobody personally. I'm not sitting around plotting and scheming and thinking about how I'm going to get certain people back. I'm past that, and I'm fighting to be even further past that as I get older, because I'm getting too old to be having little Twitter beefs and internet wars and personal wars with people. Like I said, it's just not worth my time. And I'm just really speaking from a genuine place of love, of prosperity, of peace. Vinji says the only reason I hate myself is because the voices in my head keep calling me an idiot. Oh, that's a joke. You don't have to be an idiot. You know, you can be wise, because even an idiot, you know, wow. Even an idiot can learn if they're willing, but by definition, maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, I think I've spoken too long. Thank you for those folks that have tuned in, that have really been, you know, righteous to the cause, that have been down for the cause without a pause. It's your man Mel. See you next time. Trying to make Granny laugh. Yes, Granny did laugh. We did help her a little bit. Thanks, Mel, says Vinji. Thank you, Vinji. And I need to go to your channel. I think I subscribed. If I didn't subscribe, I need to subscribe. I did subscribe, but I need to watch your latest videos. And take care. I'm out.